So Forest put themselves in a strong position as they draw away from home against Porto. But was Pereira right to do what he did? Welcome to the follow-up to Porto versus Forest. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome up to my kind of slept on it thoughts on Porto 1, Forest 1. Coming up, I want to talk about certain things that Pereira said that just not quite sitting right with me. Talk about Jesus scoring yet another goal and getting screwed over, in my opinion. And what does this mean for the Villa game? Because I think Pereira's put us in an interesting and maybe awkward situation. So make sure you've liked, make sure you've hyped, make sure you subscribed. And don't forget to check out my predictions on our second channel, the Footy Network. You can scan this QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments and see what I've predicted for the Premier League fixtures this weekend. But let's jump into this, and I want to start with the manager because look, I went away from last night's game. Obviously, there's the player ratings. I'll leave that on the end screen for you if you haven't seen it. I just didn't like the approach to the game. I think that's the right word to use. I just felt it was a bunch of the backup B team players chucked together and then holes filled where he had to fill them from the A team players. And I just feel it kind of disrespects what I want to see out of this tournament. I think we can win it. I think we can also stay where we are in the Premier League as in survival. And I don't think those two things have to conflict with each other. Now, I know a lot of you may think the opposite, and I have no problems with that. But I just don't understand this mindset. And the thing that stuck out to me the most, I was watching Pereira's interview last night, was when he was talking about the subs he made at halftime. And he said, I did those subs with Villa in mind. That for me just doesn't sit right. And look, I like Pereira. I like what he's done. I've actually got no real gripes with him, so to speak, like I did with some previous managers. But how can you be thinking about Villa at halftime in a game where we could get through to the semi-finals? There's still 45 minutes to play, and at that stage it was one apiece. It just doesn't make sense to me that much. Maybe I'm over-analysing this game, but I could understand it more so if this was, say, just before the last international break where Forest have been playing, you know, Thursday, Sunday, Sunday, Thursday, etc., etc. We've had 3 weeks off. I think he's babying these players too much. And I think we saw that in the first 10 minutes of the game. It's almost like it's not a case of go out and win this game. It's go out and play this game, try and get something, but just make sure you're not tired by the end of it. And if you look at it within the first few minutes, we found ourselves in a situation where we were 3-on-1. It was just Zach Abbott left at the back. And the striker should have scored from it. Ortega makes a decent double save on it. But it just felt so lethargic. I don't know how to explain it. That game last night didn't give me the same emotions I had when we were playing Bayern Munich, 30 odd years ago and what have you. And I feel that was taken away by the team selection and the tactics and the kind of attitude towards it. I don't know if I'm making sense in what I'm saying here or if it's coming across. Maybe some of you guys can relate to what I'm saying. But I just strongly believe that if we'd gone into that game and Forest had beaten him, let's just say he chose the first team squad and Forest came away with the win, because I don't think Porto were that good. Like the chances they created, apart from that one in the second half that whistled past the post, honestly, a lot of their chances were our own mistakes and their finishing was terrible. And the striker was horrific. Obviously, Samu's out injured for them, so they are going to be, slightly less in strength there. But I just think our first team would have been comfortable. We saw it at the City Ground. We beat them quite comfortably 2-0. And I just think we could have taken the first team there, got a result, and then the result gives you that energy. Like, how can I explain this? Like, if I'm playing golf, for example, right? I play golf when I can. If I'm having a bad round, suddenly after about 5 holes, my legs are gone, they feel heavy, my back's aching and everything. But if I'm having a good round, even if I've had a long, tiring week or whatever, you don't care. You can fight through because the momentum and the motivation is there. And I think players and footballers should have that as well. And I'm sure they do, that they get on these kind of momentum streaks. You win a game, you're looking forward to the next game. It's like, bring it on. Let's have a fun training session. Let's, recover the body as best we can and take that momentum into the next game. And I just feel the conversations are so much about, let's not be tired. Let's make sure that they're ready for the Villa game. And my biggest problem with this now is I think he's added some weird pressure onto this Villa game. Because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, all right, Pereira, you pulled off Murillo at halftime. You left Morato on. You left Ndoye on. You didn't bring certain other players on. You better go and get me something out of this Villa game then. Because he's just added pressure. I've not looked at this Villa game and thought this is a must win or anything like that. For me, our season depends on the Burnley game after that. And, if we get a point out of Villa, for example, and then beat Burnley, I think we're done and dusted. And I just think he's added pressure onto this Villa game unnecessarily. And then flip it over to Villa. Villa played pretty much their full strength team against Bologna. And they came away with a 3-1 win. Now I'm looking at both camps here. And who's going into Sunday with kind of more chest sticking out? Is it the team that drew 1-1, that was rotating players? Or is it the team that's had a 3-week break, come back, got any ring rust out of their system, and gone away and won 3-1? And have put themselves in a position now that come next week, they can relax a little bit in the second leg at home for them because they've already got a 2-goal buffer. Whereas we are probably, during that Villa game, he's going to have to start, if you follow his logic, looking again towards the Porto game midweek. And it's just this weird knock-on effect that is going to cause. So look, I am happy with the 1-1 draw. I said I'd take a draw behind it. But after watching the game, I think a more organised Forest team, a Forest team that has more chemistry between the players that were on the pitch, probably could have gone and won that game. And probably won it comfortably. We did get the goal with Jesus. That got disallowed. I'm still baffled that was given. I think it was given for handball. Some people are saying, oh no, but he knocked the keeper on the back of the head. Diogo Costa absolutely milked that one to try and ensure the goal didn't stand. I think it should have stood. Like, the game's getting too soft for me. That's just another example of the softness. Players get tired. Players can't take knocks. Like, what would they have done in the 90s and I guess the 80s before that if these players were playing there? So, look, anyway, it's just a weird one that I just wanted to discuss with you. Has Pereira now put more pressure unnecessarily on this Villa game? Because my point here is that if we lose to Villa and then we go and get knocked out against Porto next week, obviously I don't want those scenarios to happen. But what would have been the point in what he did last night against Porto? Because it's all kind of crash down on it. Now, hopefully I can sit here come, Thursday evening or Thursday night, should I say, next week and be like, Pereira was absolutely spot on. We've beaten Villa. We've beaten Porto. We're into the semi-finals. Let's take that momentum now into the Burnley game. I think we got that next. And I hope that's the scenario. But it just felt a little bit weird for me. So get your thoughts in on it. I know it's a bit of a weird video. I know I've rambled on, but just been playing on my mind overnight and I just wanted to share it with you guys. We'll be live on Grumpy Old Reds tonight about 6:30. Don't forget, West Ham are playing Wolves. This is a huge game tonight as well. Spurs could end up in the bottom 3. So like, subscribe. We'll see you tonight on Grumpy Old Reds. I'll leave you on the end screen the video for my predictions for the weekend and the player ratings. I'll see you tonight. Come on, you Reds.